Services like LegalZoom and Zen Business and others that we've discussed have the ability to file this for you. I would urge you to go do it on. Hello. So now that the company is formed, there are a few things that you need to take care of after the company has been created. So most of these things are compliance stuff, and some of them are important. Some of them aren't as urgent, and some of them are urgent. They have urgent deadlines. And it really depends on the type of the company you formed, and also depends on the type of business you're going to do, and also depends on which state you've formed your company at. So it's really hard to have everything, but I'm going to try to list the most important things that you may run into. So the first thing we're going to talk about is if you're formed an LLC. So normally an LLC have multiple members unless it's a single member LLC. So you would fill out the membership certificate that guarantees everybody's membership percentage, and you would sign them and send them over to members. The other thing you can do is basically get the operating agreement that you used in your filing, which is the document that defines how the company operates. It can also be called bylaws. You have them signed by the members and keep them for your records. So the other thing you also can do, which might be related to companies that are C-Corp. So C-Corp companies and S-Corp. So for the C-Corp companies, you have to do, something we call stock election, Form E03 and this one has a deadline. You definitely want to, fill this out. There's a process, and you send this to IRS. Once your company starts hiring employees, if you will, or maybe making revenue, you'll have to report revenue. And if you have hired employees, you have to, pay payroll tax and so on, especially if they're full-time employees. All of this requires dealing with the federal tax, entity, the IRS. For that, you're going to need to have an EIN. And the EIN, the employer identification number, is required even for opening a bank account. So services like LegalZoom and Zen Business and others that we've discussed have the ability to file this for you. I would urge you to go do it online. So just look up, issuing an EIN online. The process takes a few minutes and, costs free. So, should be better. So just go to, during the business hours. It's an online website, but it only works during business hours. You just go fill in the information and we'll assign you an EIN. If you have formed your company outside the state where you live in, or outside the state where you're going to do business, and you probably need to have a foreign qualification. And we talked about this in the first video. That foreign qualification is a process as well that you probably have to do, and you want to do it before you get a penalty for it. Now, if you're planning to sell goods in the state, you may need to apply for a seller license. If you are going to open a restaurant, you may have to look at health department, permits and other types of permits. So it depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to open a medical facility like a clinic or a dental office, you may look for professional licenses and so on. So these things are obviously depending on what type of business you're going to do. And lastly, one of the things you will need to do once you start receiving revenue or even pay, employees or businesses or buy goods is to have a bank account. We do recommend you to have a separate bank account from your personal. And I've used 2 bank accounts so far in this business or creating businesses. I use Bank of America. My experience with them is it's one of the best banks. You can get a bank open like the same day. If you just walk into the bank, they can open it for you the same day. You can probably even do it online. I've done a lot of them online. I've done some of them in person. The least amount of paperwork and the fastest to open. The only problem with Bank of America is you may have more fees to maintain a low balance compared to other banks. I've tried Wells Fargo. It definitely takes longer, a lot more paperwork, and much longer to do anything really. You may want to try Chase. I haven't tried Chase. I heard good things about Chase. So Chase is also another bank. All of these banks will require an EIN. And then obviously if you're a resident or if you are a citizen, you'll have to have an SSN. That will help a lot with creating your bank account. So with that, those are mostly the things that you need to do post formation. In the next video, we're going to start talking about the fun stuff, which is, okay, now that the company's formed, you want to get your things organized in documents. You want to set up your IT infrastructure. You want to have an email, website. So we'll talk about all of this and what are the best tools to do that, and maybe to do it with almost no cost to very little cost. So I'll see you in the next video.